Hey, what's up, everybody? We're starting DBC today with Heavy Hearts with our good friend, Freddie Kraft. He wasn't at the racetrack this weekend, obviously not on the show today. He lost his father. So we're going to take a moment to remember Tom, his family, his friends, and most importantly, his big love for racing.
Hey everybody, I'm TJ Majors, part of the 6 Cup car this weekend only. No truck racing for me.
Maybe you should just do one vehicle every week because you're actually fast.
I know, man. Maybe my effort level was super high on Sunday. I don't know.
Brett Griffin, I watched from home this weekend. I will be in Michigan. Excited to go back to the racetrack. And we've got a special guest that people are going to like to hear from, I think. Mr. Carson Hocevar is in the house.
Yeah, excited to finally be here and get on and
talk
a little bit.
You know who's going to be really happy?
Who?
That dude that was yelling at you at that stage appearance in Charlotte.
What was he saying?
He didn't like you.
There's a lot of people that don't like me.
He was very vocal.
Casey's also not here this week, so we got a super sub. Yeah. I would have to say maybe even better looking than Casey at times.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, he is an Iron Man after all.
Yeah. I heard Casey was clipping her nails, and she cut one, and she just couldn't come in.
Maybe, yeah. Who knows? Who knows why she's not here? But, Andrew, are you ready for this?
I don't know.
You've done this once, right?
I've never done this. Never sat here.
Oh, so your virginity of DBC is forever lost.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
No, Casey's out sick, so we wish her well.
You like to ask questions for a living, so are you going to ask us like better questions than Casey usually does?
Now you're like on camera. I mean, the spotlight's on you right here. This is your shot.
Didn't Joey Logano come back from being 2 laps down?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah, he came back.
Yeah,
I'll tell you who wasn't.
I'm just going to repeat myself.
Did you go to Millbridge?
Yeah.
I'll tell you who wasn't 2 laps down this weekend. Carson Hocevar. Dude, that had to be fun.
It was a lot of fun. Honestly, it was a really miserable weekend from the start. So the way the schedule worked, we practiced and qualified, and then we sat for 22 hours. And we were, like, pretty good in practice, felt really good. We sucked last year at Richmond. Worked on it, rebuilt the whole car in the off season.
Was that the year you wrecked that guy?
Yeah, I mean, we were wrecking basically lap cars to stay on the lead lap. We were that bad. So we sat there, and last year we thought we practiced pretty good. Nighttime fell. Qualifying, we were not very good. Race time, we were terrible. And
it's a fun racetrack if you're good.
It is a lot of fun. I figured that out. It's very fun. Last year I would have said flood the place like Chris Buescher said. But yeah, you had 22 hours to soak that we qualified 18th, thinking it's the same deal as last year. We roll off pit road, and my left front's flat. It falls on the rim. It locks up the tire.
Here goes the splitter.
Destroys the splitter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is just perfect. We sat here for 22 hours, and I didn't even get to second gear, and I got a flat. And you pass a lot of the mid-pack, late-pack trucks, and you get a false read of how your truck is, which I thought maybe a little bit overconfident that I thought our truck was actually better than I thought maybe it was, and you pass some mid-pack guys pretty easily. Momentum's high. You're just passing trucks, and I'm like, man, we can run 5th to 10th here. Like you ain't beating the 98. That thing ain't happening.
He was a rocket.
We get to about 3rd. I'm like, all right, good pit stop and everything, and all of a sudden, like 98's caught speeding. I'm like, man, if I could get out front and just see maybe he doesn't have enough time to get me. And once I had the gap, all of a sudden he started catching me. I was looking at the pylon to see where he was, and all of a sudden I saw his second. I'm like, oh no, like this is about it. And I
don't think people always realize that. You guys are in there by yourself. Obviously, your spotter and crew chief are talking to you. But you take the time to look around and look at the pylon, to look at the television. You're looking at other stuff.
Well, that's where, like, they asked me in the media center, they're like, well, did you think you were going to catch the 98, or did you know how fast the 98 was catching? I'm like, no, I can't see him. I was like, we were racing each other for the win, and I never saw him till 3 to go. Like, I never raced around him. I never knew what he was like. I didn't know what he was going to – I didn't know what his line was.
He was fast.
I saw him with – I caught him super fast with the old tires, so I never even got the chance to, like, look where he was running. Like, is he running the top, running the bottom, what he was doing? So it's just weird that, like, even Moody came up to me afterwards. He's like, it was the weirdest race. He's like, you guys raced for the win for 60, 70 laps and never
saw each other.
Never even around each other.
I think that's fun, though. So you're talking about your truck. Man, I've known your crew chief, Phil, for a long time. How much have you enjoyed working with Phil?
Oh, he's the best. He's super fun, super relaxed. very emotional on the radio at times, as well as me. And but we work really well together. We don't do the BS. We don't overthink. We just do. And whatever makes sense, we do, and that's the direction we go. We don't fall into any other trends. We don't try to copy, see, monkey do. We just, if it feels good, he's going to put it in, or if he has the idea, I just say, yeah, well, let's just do that.
I like when you called him the first best crew chief.
Yeah, something like that. I was
You're like, I got the first best pit crew. I got the first best crew chief.
Dude, I was messed up. I was like, I couldn't breathe. I said, am I allowed to?
You say whatever you want on here.
Okay.
We don't care.
I said hard, and I had never idea. For 3 hours, I had no idea I said it. Like, I was so focused on not throwing up that I was talking in like the back part of my brain, and it was just talking, and I didn't like. I was doing my best to like just keep talking, hoping like in the meantime, I'm like, don't throw up.
But dude, you didn't look that hot. Like, you weren't pouring sweat.
No,
what was it?
I stopped breathing. Like, I was just so like
adrenaline
pumped up. Like,
yeah.
Like, I was like, hold on. I like that's why like I didn't even want to talk to the guy. Like, I rewatched it, and I didn't even know that they were trying to interview me for like 5 minutes. Like, I was just sitting there celebrating still. I forgot like even Texas, they didn't interview me on the front stretch. So I was just like, hey, I'm just going to sit here and celebrate all day long. And I looked down, I'm like, oh, now I gotta breathe and talk. Like,
well, you were warming your hands by the campfire. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I had a good time. Like, I'd still be out there celebrating if they let me. I told them everybody either had their radio off or whatever. Like, I kind of did the check key or mic check of, hey, I'm going to burn this thing down like hardcore if that's all right. And they're like, I didn't hear anything. I'm like, all right, I'll shut my gauges off and I'll just sit there with the wood. And,
yeah.
Don't look at the gauges. They're overrated.
Well, they're digital dashes now. We can shut them off.
Yeah, it's overrated.
Yeah. Well, it was fun to see a big personality. I mean, we see all these guys win, and they get out, and then I feel like we're watching corporate influenced people talking in a boardroom, but you got out, man, and you were animated. So where does that big personality come from?
I don't know. I just always have wanted to have fun. Didn't think I was going to last this long, honestly.
Really?
No. I thought I thought I'd be 6 races and out, or just fizzle out, or run a year and, kind of go nowhere, go to a lower team, or like, I didn't know how long this was going to last.
Wow.
So I wanted to enjoy every moment of it. And I figured if I was having fun, the guys around me would have fun, or, I'd meet some people and they'd want to help fund me, or whatever the case may be. Nobody wants to fund anybody that's boring and lame, and nobody wants to work for anybody that's lame. So I figured if I was having fun, the guys around me would have fun, and word would spread, and that would be my only shot.
You may be the only guy this year that comes on this show that has competed in all 3 series: Xfinity Series, Truck Series, and Cup Series this year. Tell me about how these things drive differently, because we debated on here sometimes, and I've said, watching these races, it almost looks like you can go, and I'm not trying to set you up with this question. I just realized it may sound like that, given some of the rumors that are out there. I've said this year that it looks like you can almost go from trucks straight to Cup, because the Xfinity cars drive so much differently than the Cup cars. So I'm curious just what you think about evaluating the 3 series, which one's the most fun to drive, and what jump makes the most sense, I guess.
What's the hardest car to drive out of all 3?
For me, it's the Xfinity car. It's most foreign for me, honestly. Like you said, it's the most foreign for me. Like, I felt like I got in at Gateway for the Cup Series, and I felt super comfortable right away.
And you were
in
fast.
That car.
They have a lot of grip.
They have a lot of grip, but I've been doing sim for a year and a half plus. I've seen a lot of the data. Like, I feel like from start of next gen, like, I've seen all the development. Like, I know how the car is supposed to work, the kind of idea, where the Xfinity car, I've only just ever watched on TV. I've never, like, sat down and looked at data. Like, I only do the sim right before the race. Like,
they're up on the track more.
Yeah.
They're all over the place.
They got way more horsepower. The truck and Cup are a little bit closer. The downforce level is probably a little closer. It's just the Xfinity car is way different. So it took me until mid-Charlotte, honestly. It took me until about middle of the second race. Like, I ran Darlington, I ran 6, and I never felt comfortable the whole race. Like, wow. I never felt like I was getting 90% out of it, but I never felt like I was getting all of it. Yeah. Like, I just was like, just trying my best to not touch the wall. Like, I felt like I just kept having to slow myself down. Like where the Cup car, I felt like I instantly could know where the aggression level is and get to the limit, where it wasn't until Charlotte and Xfinity car where I finally started pushing it, and then all of a sudden we were running third at times, and I'm like, man, like, okay, like now I can kind of tell.
I've always heard drivers that get in them things and run them, like, you got to drive them so hard. Like, I think McMurray, a long time ago, McMurray ran a race for Junior Motorsports, and he got in the car, and he hadn't been in an Xfinity car in a while. And he's like, I just forgot how hard you have to drive these things. And they're definitely on top of the track more. There's more tools for passing than the Cup car as well, as far as, like, aero stuff. Like, you don't get as aero tight. I'm sure you felt the aero tight in the Cup car, even in Gateway. But
Well, I watched you when you got here. You talked about a little bit ago how you got here and you didn't think you'd be here long. Congratulations on still being here, because I think that's probably important. And big time congratulations on being here, like at this moment on DBC. I mean, this.
hey, you're supposed to win after.
This is like the defining moment of your career. When you leave here, you typically win. So
Oh, perfect. Well, I'm going to Michigan to run the Xfinity car, so like it will work out. Like that's the one where I'm not like supposed to win. So.
Right. And that Michigan's home, man. That'd be big, right?
It's the first time I've ever run Michigan.
Wow.
Like, so that's huge for me.
Holy cow, that'll be a fun track, man. So I remember you getting here and being super fast, and I was like, man, this kid's good, right? Then I remember you doing some dumb shit, right? We talked about it on here. Freddie has an old saying, if you don't do dumb shit, we won't have dumb shit to talk about. And then it seems like a switch went off, and you have all of a sudden just, I mean, I hate to say matured overnight. I know there was a conversation between you and Dale Jr. where he maybe gave you a little bit of humble pie to have for dessert, right? What happened? What's clicked to make you a better race car driver inside your own head? Because you had the speed. It had to be up here, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different things. Part of it is understanding like what they mean slow down to go fast, right? Like I would hear it my whole life. Like you just need to slow down.
That's a Richmond tactic too.
I sat at Sonoma even, like, and I won the pole, and I had 16, I feel like, awkward, very uncomfortable, like gut-wrenching conversations, right? Like with a bunch of, even, the Alliance, like Trackhouse, like, Daniel Suarez is filling in, Worldwide Express, Nice, all the way down the chain, my team, that team, everything. And I had conversations with almost all of them, and all of them were uncomfortable. And all of them were, just slow down a little bit. Like, you'll go faster. I'm like, what do you mean slow down? Like, I always thought you had to win the race because you're the fastest guy. You had to, like, boxing, like, mentality. Like, that's where I came into this. I thought, if I'm in a boxing ring, I'm going to just keep punching. I'm going to figure out how to keep punching, and you get that last round, you just start swinging. You don't worry about how tired you are. You don't worry about how much breath you have left. You don't worry about anything. You just plan on laying in the ground the second the ring goes because you're that tired. Like that was my mentality driving, and I was just going to, why wouldn't you put 110% of all your level into every lap you run, and took it way to the extreme. Like, I was way to the extreme.
I agree. At times we saw that.
Desperate in every moment. Thought I should win every race or have a shot to win every race. At times I would, like, have a shot to win, right? And you see it all, something happens, flat tire, anything. And I would see there and see it all fall away, right? I'm like, man, what do I got to do to get back in the race, like back in the moment? And then realizing back then, like, okay, even if you're back in the race, you're going to start 24th or 25th or 26th or wherever it is left, you ain't winning the race. Like, and once I started realizing that, and I started looking back at it and realizing you probably don't want the whole garage against you. You don't want your whole team against you. You have a lot of awkward conversations. You're tired of the conversations with your own team owner and your own sponsors, your own everything, that running fifth and, like, decent conversations and working on your stuff's a lot better than winning. And I was just so focused on winning. And once I got the first win, I could kind of realize, like, I thought it would fix itself, right? Like, and like I didn't have to make a change. Like, I very much thought, I don't know if it's the arrogance as a race car driver or whatever, like, oh, I'm not the problem, right? And then I won a race. I'm like, oh, everything's going to fix itself. My hands are clean. Everything will fix itself. Yeah. And then go to Martinsville, and then all of a sudden I'm having these conversations. I'm like, I won the race. Like, why are these conversations
It didn't fix it.
Why are these conversations still happening? And then got sat down, had more conversations, had the big piece of humble pie with Dale Jr., and then I'm like, whenever it clicked, and I'm like, man, I just showed up in this guy's shop, idol of mine, childhood dream, and that's the first thing out of his mouth.
What'd he say?
He said, hey, man, like, when are you going to stop tearing up? Like, that was his conversation.
Owners don't like to spend money on
He's like,
fixing stuff.
he's like, you ain't going to do that in one of these cars, are you? Like, he's like, man, you're better than that. I'm like, oh, like 6-year-old me's like, all I see is 6-year-old me just sitting there. Like, like I was envisioning, like, he was talking to 6-year-old me. I'm like, man, I gotta fix this, like, really fast.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
It
has to be a little bit eye-opening. Two things. A, Dale Jr.'s noticing, right? You're this kid, grows up, he's your hero, and he's watching you race, right? That roles are kind of reversed. And then now he's giving you advice in a very hardcore way.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad he did. I'm glad everybody has. It's like, you can't have yes men in life, and you just can't have that. Like, I would have been, I never would have changed if I did.
Before we talk about the playoffs, I got to ask you, and dude, this is going to be, you may squirm on me right here or swing at me. You talked about boxing. Would you, looking back at all the dumb shit you did, right, would you have suspended yourself at any point if you were in NASCAR, given the fact of what we know now? I know it's hard to be unbiased and answer that, but I got to know.
I'm shocked I wasn't. Not going to lie. I'm shocked I wasn't. I'm very, very thankful I wasn't. I can't talk too much about it, right? I can't say, oh, they like, I can't say, oh yeah, you should.
Let's just say you've grown up a lot.
I'm very glad that they, I mean, I had to go to, like, I've had to go to the hauler a few times, and I've had to go to NASCAR HQ and have those conversations. And I mean, that's the reason they didn't, right? And I'm very, very glad they didn't, because if they did, I would have been just, I think if they did, right, like, I think at the time I wouldn't have looked at it like that was the punishment. I would have looked like it was unfair.
Yeah.
I would have looked at it like it was them against me and, you know, whatever. But they just kept having the conversations. They kept talking to me. They kept trying to get it into me. And I think that was what helped click. And I was like,
was there one conversation that stands out?
Yeah,
when you left it, you were like, you know what?
Yeah, it was the last one, the most recent one. Right after Martinsville, went to NASCAR and walked in, and there were 3 or 4 people in there, and it was just a long talk. And I'm like, okay, yep, yep. And I was understanding it, and I was fully vocal on my side, and I told them my side, and told them everything where I was at, and I explained to them, like, look, I understand this is, and I talked about my mindset, where I was at, where I was thinking, where I was in the moment. I went through every single instance from my whole career. Talked with them, like, it was a long talk. And Seth with the Truck Series, I talked to him almost every week, and either good or bad, and you have those conversations, you have that relationship, you have everything, and I'm glad they didn't. Definitely shocked at times I wasn't, but looking back now, but I'm glad they didn't, because I think it would have done I wouldn't have had the turnaround. I think everything was supposed to happen for a reason, right?
Yep.
And I think if I didn't have all those growing pains, I wouldn't be in a spot where I am now, and it would have taken me longer to get there. I would have been in a better spot, right, if those weren't happening, but I think they would have been a lot further apart.
Yeah, good. Well, the good news is
we've seen a lot of drivers too, though.
Yeah,
that have been very successful.
Listen, man, we've seen them all come through there. Harvick. Yeah. I mean, there's a long list of guys.
A lot of successful guys have had these meetings too.
But you've flipped the switch. You're showing maturity. You're showing speed. 3 wins. Your first year winning the truck race. You already got 3 wins. Playoffs are coming up. You're sitting 3rd in the standings. What is your mental approach going into this, man? Because you're up against some Goliaths out there.
I mean, we're in a good spot, right? And I'm trying not to overthink it. I'm trying not to ever get the pressure get to me, because I don't want to get in that desperation ever. You know, it's we're in a lot better spot. We don't have our tongue hanging out. Last 2 years, we've had our tongue hanging out. You're always on that edge. You're always just on the cut line. So every spot matters. And, if you're going backwards, you feel like you're just watching the points fall, where now we're third in points. Like, we got plenty of room. We got plenty of gap. Even the next round, we're going to have playoff points in the bank. Like, should be, a lot less pressure, a lot less high of stakes. And I'm not letting myself get the pressure of the playoffs. So I'm just focused on one race at a time. That's
the easiest thing to do.
Work on my mind more
is beat yourself right now. Speeding on pit road. Do I need to go 3 wide right here with these 2 guys that are in a much more desperate situation than I am? You know what I mean? Like, if you have a 4th place truck, run 4th with it. You probably end up 2nd or have a shot at winning because mistakes will happen in front of you. So but it's so hard to, just make yourself slow down that little bit. And a lot of drivers can't do it. But you got a good point buffer, and you have a good shot at finishing these races out, just minding your own business and carrying momentum into the next round. So
yeah, I've always noticed too, like that's what saved me my first year is everybody crashed at Vegas, race 1, right?
Yeah.
I was in the red heading into the playoffs, and race 1 I was in the green after because we just finished the race, and because everybody crashed. Like it seems like the first round is so chaotic that I don't want to. Now I am that guy up front that I just got to be able.
There's
to
guys going to drive over their
points.
heads, and that just when they do that, your point buffer is just going to get even bigger, and you didn't even do anything, but just mind your own business.
Yep.
All right. Well, Andrew, are you ready?
Casey, are you ready?
Yeah.
Hey guys,
Brett,
go to
you want to kick
Millbridge.
this show off?
Me? How
Yeah.
you want me to kick it off?
I don't know. That's usually what you say.
Oh, I thought you were running things today.
Yeah. All right. All right. It's time for Spot On, Spot Off, presented by Moneyline, guys.
Yeah, man, it's cool to have Moneyline come on. I mean, you guys know I wear a spot on, spot off hat about every single week, so it's one of my favorite parts of the show. And TJ, I know that you love money.
Man, I don't know anyone that doesn't love money. Brett, it's the official digital finance partner of 2311 Racing.
2311 Racing. You would think they got plenty of money. They got Michael Jordan as
And
a
Denny
team owner.
Hamlin.
Yeah. I saw where he made like $2 billion selling the Hornets. Did you notice that?
I can't even fathom that.
I can't either. I don't know.
He must use Moneyline.
But the good news is, if we wanted to get some money, all we got to do is download the Moneyline app, use promo code $DirtyMo. That's $DIRTYMO to set up direct deposit, and you can get up to $55 on Moneyline for free.
Yep.
That's promo code $DirtyMo to earn up to $55. Now, guys, let's get to our first topic. The CW will take over the NASCAR Xfinity Series broadcasts starting in 2025 through 2031, and they'll pay about $115 million per year for that deal.
Oh, that's it?
Spot on, spot off, TJ.
What is the CW like? Is that a chick flick channel? What is it?
Isn't that what
Grey
Jerry
Goose.
Springer's on?
Is it a chick flick channel?
Dawson Creek.
Dawson's
They've got
Creek?
like Seinfeld on there.
Oh, that's
Really?
not chick flick.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dawson's Creek probably
It's
is
not-
a little
yeah,
bit.
it's not chick flick.
Well, here's what we know. We know they're getting into sports.
That's great.
We know they're spending a lot of money to get into sports.
That's great.
We know that they're on damn near every television in America
Which
that's
is
in
great.
people's homes, which is great. I guess you can get it with rabbit ears, which I didn't even know were still a thing. Carson? Do you even know what rabbit ears are for a TV?
No, I don't know what that is. What do
Have you
mean?
ever seen rabbit ears for a TV?
No. What are you talking about?
So you have this thing that you sit on top of your TV, which is the way we used to watch TV, and you have these things, and you literally would pull them up further and further and further, the antennas, and you could get 3 channels when I was little.
Sometimes you put aluminum foil on them to make them.
Why does that make them work
I
better?
don't know.
Oh, that's
know.
what they're called, rabbit ears?
Rabbit ears, yeah.
What do you think we were talking about?
Is it, I don't even know.
Like, I thought you were actually going to put, like I thought it was, like, the theme of the,
well, TJ will find you
like,
a
I
picture
thought they
on
were,
his
like,
phone.
genuinely rabbit ears, and that
It's
was,
just
like, their theme.
it's just antennas that
like,
come
you know,
up
like
in
the
back.
Energizer Bunny, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think
like,
some
it was,
people
like,
came
their
out with
mascot.
ones that were like round and like, maybe they looked like a
Yeah,
set of
that's
rabbit ears or something. I don't even know.
Here's the biggest reason I'm spot on for it, and I'd love to know what you guys think. NASCAR just landed a new customer. And when I'm talking about NASCAR, I'm talking about the sanctioning body just landed. This is no different than Carson landing a big new sponsor, right? We have another TV partner to add to the mix that's willing to take our product and put it in more households than we've had in the past, right? And when I look at that, first of all, it excites me, but the biggest reason, on the secondary reason why is, NBC and Fox Sports 1 and Fox were spending a lot of money to cover the Xfinity Series, and now this gives them money to potentially move into different buckets to make the Cup Series coverage better. And they got a couple years to really get aligned and see what that means. So I think the two biggest takeaways for me is it gives our current TV partners an opportunity to reallocate funds to make the current products better. And here comes walking in the new guy on a long-term deal. It's not like they can come in here and muck this up. They cannot. They have got to have this succeed for their investment to work. Here comes the big question, though. Now that we've got, this new partner in here, NASCAR is saying they're going to own the production side of this. What does that mean? Where is that based out of? Are they borrowing people from NBC and Fox that are already at the track? Are they using all the cameras that are already in place? Are they going to have the booth live at the racetrack? Are they going to have the booth remote like what we see in F1 and what the Xfinity Series did this weekend at Road America? Are they going to develop new talent to where it's not, Kim Kuhn on Saturday running the Xfinity race and Kim Kuhn on Sunday running the Cup race? It's going to be new broadcasting talent. So I'm curious to see how all that works, and this is my only real straight-up concern, being real with you people. If those people are on NASCAR payroll, that makes me really nervous from the broadcasting side, because we know that MRN, Dave Moody, all those guys, they're all on NASCAR payroll, right? They work for NASCAR. There is no way around it. The last thing I'm going to do is come on here and mother Dale Jr. on this show because he's my boss for Dirty Mo Media. So I want to know, as a sports fan, when I'm watching a broadcast, I want to know what you really think. So I just hope we understand, and it's 2 years out, I hope we understand who those people are, who they're paid by, because I don't want to be sold any more than I'm already sold now.
Yeah, that's some good points to bring up there. I don't know the answer to any of them, but it'll be interesting to see how that works out.
I think my favorite part of it, honestly, though, is that it's all 33 races. Like, it's not different. It's not this new
Well, you can go and find that on that channel.
broadcast. It's not this new broadcast for just 23 weeks or 20 weeks. Like, you're going to get used to it really quickly.
Agree.
That it's all 33 for however many years,
Which when a long time ago, that's how it used to be too for us. I mean, you go to the same channel, right?
We at least knew the same time. We knew which partners were doing what. Now it's all over the place. So, great point, Carson. Spot on for you being spot on.
All right, next topic. Shane Van Gisbergen.
There's no N before the S.
Professional journalist major over there. Can't even say the
with
name.
a Z, Giz.
SVG.
Giz hamburger. Yeah. So you can't say that.
That's your get out of jail free card, SVG.
SVG.
What'd you call him, Brett?
I don't remember.
Yeah, right.
I think he called him Van Hamburger on the
No, he just
after the
called
race
him
in Chicago.
Brandon, what'd he say?
Oh, what did he say? I can't remember what he said. What Joey said?
Gisbergen. I mean,
It's easy to have a typo with your mouth, too.
why don't you Google that and see what comes up?
Anyways, about
I almost spit
SVG.
my water out.
He confirms intentions to switch from supercars to NASCAR starting next season. Spot on, spot off. Brett.
Man, good for him, man.
Yeah.
I'm spot on, especially with the influence that he's had around here. I mean, he brings clearly some international appeal, and anytime I think we can get a better race car driver in here that's better for the sport, better for sponsors. We've seen Marcus Ambrose come over here, man, and I can't imagine how good Ambrose would have been had he been in a really good car.
Or if we ran some street races back then.
I mean, he was a talented race car driver.
Yeah.
Did a phenomenal job, and contended to win some races at road courses. But just imagine if he'd have been in a hot rod.
Just imagine if he'd be in the same car. Like, everybody's on even cars now. Like, it's not
Right.
It's not
Yeah, it's
Aero.
not- yeah.
It's not like
He was taking a B car probably then and running
No,
with A's.
I don't know if he's B's. Maybe.
Do you think they were worse or better?
I mean, C's maybe. C plus.
I'm just saying he was definitely out. Others definitely had better equipment. He was running with them
For
and
sure.
stuff,
To Carson's
so.
point, if he'd been in even equipment, which there's more parity now than ever in a Cup Series, he'd
I
been
think
in better.
I'm spot on for it too because the guy gets in everything and runs Bathurst and other
didn't
cars.
Marcus heel toe too? Like he
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
he's not. So I've inquired about that. He's not. He's heel toeing, but he's using the clutch. Did you see what he's doing with the clutch? He's using every time. Shane.
Yeah.
He's using the clutch to stop the wheel hopping and stuff. Like, if like, not that I'm a superb race car driver, but if I tried to do that into one corner, I'd probably be into the tire barrier. I'd have been in there like no every lap. But I'm spot on for Shane coming over here. Like Brett said, it's great to get people like that, and Shane was a class act. Marcus was when he came over here. Great dude, and I'm interested in seeing if Shane. I think the learning curve for him to come over here is going to be easier than what it was for when Ambrose did it. I think the cars are closer together. I think he has a chance to come over here, and if he gets in good equipment, I think he could be pretty. I mean, don't get me wrong, the mile and a half and stuff in the air, it's going to take a little while to learn. I mean, it's tough, but I think the guy has a really good shot of coming over here, and you know, his first year is going to be a struggle, but I think he has the talent to pick it up, and we'll see. I mean, but I'm spot on for it because I got a lot of friends in Australia and over there, and great people. Dale Jr. talks about like Paul Morris, Owen Kelly, and them over there. Really good dudes. Looking really forward to it if it happens.
He's going to be back in a few weeks in Indy. How do you guys think he'll do in his second attempt at
Is it raining or
NASCAR
not
race?
raining?
I would let's give it no rain. Normal conditions.
He finishes 15th.
I think he finishes a little bit better than that, but I think.
Do you remember what turn one at Indy looks like?
Was that with Logano on the pit road access or on the track? I think he runs top 10, but I think the competition's way closer here. I think our guys have been to this track. It's not an enclosed street course where I don't think our guys were used to it. You know, that track. It was Shane's used to those rough street courses. Like the car is very similar, probably harder to drive than the Cup car. Honestly, I don't think they have as big a tires as we have. So he came over here and drove a car that has less horsepower, more grip, and a street course that he's used to. And I mean, he got faster and faster as it went on too. And he did a really good job being patient in that race and just letting it come to him. But I think the competition, you know, you go to some of these tracks like there, Watkins Glen, Sonoma. I just think it's going to be hard to run, just be dominant. I think he'll run with them guys, but I think he's going to get out of that race and be like, these guys are pretty good at this stuff.
That's what I want Carson to tell me. How good is this guy? How hard is it going to be for him to get here and be good, successful?
Man, I don't know. I think it's going to be really tough for him on the mile and a halfs, right? That's going to be tough to learn. I think the short tracks are going to be super
25th
tough.
at a mile and a half is going to be like,
whoa. I think genuinely, there's going to be – I'm curious how he performs, right? Because I think there's a race within the race. I think he's racing Brody Kostecki too. He's coming over.
Yeah.
They race each other all the time. It seems like Brody wins a lot. I keep seeing on Twitter he's winning.
He's gotten really good.
He's getting a lot better. I've heard his name a handful of times even when I'm in the simulator.
Yeah.
His name is obviously circling around. So I think there's a race within the race, especially between those two. I mean, how can it not? As a competitor, that's what you're used to, is racing that guy.
Right.
I'm curious how he does, and I'm curious who wins between the two or who's faster between the two. Because obviously SVG's already has a win. He's already knows this car a little bit. But, I don't know. My guess was anywhere from, like, 6th to 12th would be, like, not a shock for either. I think ahead of 6 would be above average, and below 12th I think would be a bit of a shock for
Don't
me.
forget they're moving the start-finish line back into that last corner, so that should clean turn 1 up a little bit.
Oh, good. That's a good idea.
I think anyway.
They are?
What do you think?
I think they're moving it.
Well, at what point,
Or the restart
Carson, because I think this is relevant to him coming over here if he starts running ovals. At what point were you like, holy shit, man, the air off this car in front of me, it just makes me suck. I got to figure out how to manage this.
Second I ran a truck race at Richmond, or Phoenix. That was the second I realized how bad dirty air is. I just think everybody, you just hear it and you're like, it can't be that bad. But, it was genuinely like, I thought the Cup car actually was a little better for me at Gateway than I was in the truck, because I felt like at Gateway in the Cup car, like, you could kind of move around and avoid the dirty air, or like the dirty air was so bad that if the guy in front of you was in dirty air, you could run the top, and even though the
Think
top's
shifting
slower,
affects that?
A little bit. I think just the way like how it's so rear dependent. It's so dependent on like driving in super hard, like not rolling the center and then getting off super hard. So like you could kind of run the top at Gateway and like get a big diamond and get off the corner, where like truck, it's just all about honestly roll speed. We don't have like, we can't shift down and get RPM, but so you're just kind of always just left front headlight out. Like very rarely ever can you just go up. And our wedge
the
body,
usual tactics.
Our wedge body, like it makes it worse on the top. Where cup car, like you can kind of, seems like it wasn't as effective when I got up.
There is definitely better air, like
once you're there, once you're out,
yeah.
How do you keep your cool when you're in that situation? Because as a driver, that's got to be the most frustrating part of the race. When you catch a guy from a straightaway back, and then you get there and you can't do anything. How do you stay calm?
You try. I haven't in the past, obviously.
We've seen you. We've seen you do that.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. Like I hated PJ1 for the longest time because it would take a worse race truck, put them in a lane that they're on the throttle more, and so like Texas, like you'd be wide open around the bottom, and you're obviously like if you're wide open almost on the bottom, you're gonna be obviously wide open on the top.
You had to make your truck run.
So the second like you move up, like you're now wide open versus now you have to lift when you're on the bottom. So now you can't get off the corner. So you'd be 4, 5, 6 tenths faster than the car in front of you. And the second you go to you're running the top with them wide open, and then now you have less grip when you're going to the bottom. So now you're trying to pass in less grip and in a worse aero spot. So now you're even worse. So now you physically could not pass.
Yeah. Tough. All right. I can't wait for this next one. I've actually got some audio for this once you cue it up, Andrew.
Spot on, spot off. Carson Hocevar says he's tired after his Truck Series win on a hot Richmond night.
I'm tired. I'm going to do a Noah Gregson coming to throw up here in a minute.
I am not technologically savvy, Carson, but if somebody doesn't make a GIF out of this that says I'm tired with you running your hands through your hair in a video and send it to me, I'm going to be forever disappointed, just so you know.
I mean, am I allowed to spot on myself?
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean, I was just genuinely saying what I felt. I was about to throw up. I said that. I didn't realize. It was a quick F-bomb. It was really quick.
Yeah,
like it was kind of like.
Yeah, no, but it's almost like nobody heard it.
Yeah. It was
That's why they have the delay now.
That was
They
live
missed it, though.
television.
They seem to
That
miss
is
it.
actually true. Because I heard it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, delays don't help F-bombs.
Who's gonna pay that?
Did you get fussed at all?
I didn't know. Like nobody said anything.
Good.
Nobody told me.
I don't
anything.
think you
I was
should.
done with the media.
They're going
center.
to now.
I was done with the media center, and they're like, well, originally they thought I said I was getting drunk. Like originally my sponsor thought that.
Right.
And they're like, you said that, and I'm like,
No, I didn't.
no, I didn't. I said
I'm going to watch my
watch
buddies.
people get drunk.
Yeah.
I said Texas. I got asked what I was going to do to celebrate, and I said I can't really celebrate. I'm just going to watch a bunch of people get drunk, and I'm going to have a good time watching.
Kool-Aid, man.
Yeah.
Kool-Aid.
And I'm like, and this. So I was like, it's just what I say every win now. Like I just watch people, and they're like, oh. Okay.
Yeah.
They're like, and then they always the funniest thing I said the F-bomb, but they were worried about that. They're like, you said that. I'm like, no, I didn't. So we watched it like 6 times during the deal, and I'm like, man, I really did say that. And then I'm like, oh, I did say that too.
Listen,
though.
all the kids should have been asleep by then anyway. It was a night race, and I thought it was funny.
That was a good. I think it was a good race.
Yeah.
It's fun to see it's fun to see different strategies kind of meet and see what works out. So
I was just glad, like, I was on the right end of it. this
Yeah, I
time.
would say
was,
so.
I've been on the. I was at Kansas on the off of it, and Derek Kraus blew a right front tire right in front of me, and I lost 6 seconds on one lap,
Wow.
and I lost the race by 1.2.
I actually remember that.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking.
Carson, you talked about it earlier about like holding your breath and you didn't even know you were doing it. Like, is that something that happens often when you're driving like those close, high tense situations at the end of a race?
Maybe a little bit. Honestly, it was more when I won. Like I was just running around, and I was like I forgot to breathe when we won. Like I'm doing burnouts, and I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do next? I'm jumping up. I'm running around, like so, and the adrenaline's just starting to wear off a little bit. So I was more when when I won, we were so much faster than them, and they kept telling me, "You're gonna get there. You're gonna get there." So I was like, "Oh, this is easy." I was just focused on, okay, if a yell comes out, this is the only way I lose the race.
Yeah. It was fun to watch. I will say that it was good racing, man, all weekend at Richmond. Honestly,
We're glad you didn't throw up.
same, because I would have threw up. I can't watch people puke.
No, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm gross. It's gross. Like I've told everybody, I'm like, if you throw up, I'm walking away. Like don't be insulted. I'm just gonna turn away.
I've never cleaned up throw up in my life, ever. Have you, TJ? I mean, like even when a baby spits up, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, I mean, my kids when they were little, yeah.
Oh, I'm out. I had to hire somebody.
How much? I had to do it once. It was brutal.
Ugh.
I threw up again. Like that was the worst part. I was at school and
Those are the worst.
I was at school and I got in trouble because I was always like I would always fake being sick to get out.
Yeah,
of
I did
school.
that too.
Yeah, we all did that.
So I threw up at school and they thought I faked it. Like because like I just ate it and it went down wrong, so like it came up.
Yeah.
Not to get gross and like, but like it looked fake.
Yeah.
So they made me clean it up and I wasn't allowed to leave. And then I vomited again.
For real.
For real. And they were like, "Oh." I'm like, what did you expect
The worst was
to
on
happen?
the school bus, man. If somebody threw up on the bus and then they had to clean it up, and
It just sits there.
yeah,
it
it never went away. The smell, like the speedy dry.
I
over
got
and
two
stuff.
throw up stories. I lied to y'all. I got two throw up stories.
Okay.
One of them is I was coaching 7-year-old basketball, and the kid beside of me is this jovial, fun kid, and I look at him and I'm like, "Man, you all right?" Because he wasn't acting all right. He just shook his head no, and then he projectile vomited everywhere. And literally the referee looks at me and goes, "Coach, the mop's over there." And I'm like, I went to the bathroom. I'm telling you, running to the bathroom. When I came out, thank God somebody else had cleaned it up.
I have one. Go ahead, finish
But
yours. I wanna
the
hear
other
next
one this was the worst one, dude.
Oh, no.
Bodie's friend Cam, baseball teammate. We're in my truck. We're going to Columbia, South Carolina. I'm taking them to a college baseball game. And Bodie's like, "Dad, I want a milkshake."
WeatherTech Mats, bro.
Nobody told me this kid can't have milk. What is that, lactose intolerant or
intolerant, yeah.
something? So they get these milkshakes, and I hear Bodie say, "Dad, Cam just threw up." And I'm like, surely I would have heard him. Surely he would have rolled the window down and tried to throw up outside. Brand new truck, Carson. I you not. So I start to smell the worst smell I have ever smelt in my adult life. And this kid had vomited all in my back seat. And unfortunately, leather seats, right? So you're like, "Man, no problem. We can clean this up. I'm going to man up right here." Well, the way he threw up, it went in between the seats and down under
Oh, you had to get
the
up
part
in there.
into the carpet.
Sell the car.
It cost me. I should have. It cost me $600. Listen. I got baking
You'd have paid
soda.
way more
I got,
than that.
I got Glade. I got everything in the world trying to clean this up. But I finally, after a weekend, can you imagine in the summer getting in your car after somebody's thrown up?
No.
I now know why Uber drivers charge $200 to throw up in their car. They
probably
should charge.
not
They
enough.
should charge $2,000. Yeah.
No,
Anyway.
so
Jeez.
back in the good old days when Mark McFarland was driving the junior motorsport stuff, we there was a little bit of a prank war going on. And I mean, this is like breaking into houses middle of the night, buckets of water and flour and stuff. It was that bad.
Oh.
Well, me and Topher put sardines in the back of open cans of sardines in the back of Mark's car at the airport, and they baked in there all weekend.
Oh.
So, but the one thing about throwing up is this might make you actually throw up. So, when Madeline was little, I had her, and she's probably maybe 1 or 2 years old. I just fed her sweet potato, the
Puree?
baby food and stuff, and I'm sitting there playing with her, and I'm laying by my back, and I'm putting her above my head. I was like scaring her with my eyes closed, and I was like, boo, and next thing I know, I'm like,
She threw up in your mouth.
that's sweet potatoes.
She puked in your mouth.
She definitely threw up on me and went in my mouth.
Dude, that stuff looks like puke before they eat it.
So I had sweet potatoes. I mean,
All the guys in the room are laughing about these puke stories, and all the girls are like playing on their phones, not even listening to us. We're so immature right now.
It's definitely a guy thing to do.
Sorry.
Sorry for starting that.
Yeah.
this
Did we get it all?
I think
out?
we're done. It's all
We
out.
got it all
Yeah.
out.
I didn't
Yeah.
I'll
see
throw
vomit on the itinerary.
We have a different show sheet.
It's in between the lines.
Yeah.
Like just in between the seats.
Ugh.
oh, that's disgusting.
All right, this next one, spot on, spot off. Chandler Smith loses his brakes and runs himself into the concrete wall at Road America in order to scrub speed. TJ.
I mean, can I be both? Because I'm spot on for his decision-making in that process, because it ended up watching the next guy. I much would have rather taken the hit Chandler Smith did than the next guy that took the alternate route. So spot on for his decision-making, spot off for the part failure at that point of the track, because that would not be much fun.
Yeah.
I think I would rather have it happen there than that Canada corner is at the end of that long straightaway with the kink in it and stuff, because there's not a lot of runoff in that corner. Like it's not much. So spot on for his decision making. Spot off for the.
I don't know how you. I mean, I just don't know how. Listen, I know what he did. I saw it, but I don't know how you go. Oh, the smartest thing for me to do here is drive 170 miles an hour into that concrete barrier over there. Like I don't. How do you, Carson? How does that even go through your mind?
Well, I've had it twice so far this year. Coda, I had no brakes. The brake canister or whatever fell off, so I had no brakes, no fluid left at all. So heading down, was it 11? Like you go through the S's, go uphill.
Yeah, it's downhill into that hairpin.
Downhill into the hairpin. So I had nothing. I didn't think about turning into a concrete wall or anything. But like the only thing I thought of was like I don't want to head on. So I just started clutching and like banging gears. So I banged third, I banged second. Like I just started hitting the clutch and like shifting. It broke the rear axle, broke the rear end out of it. But it spun me out, and I just kept spinning and landed in the gravel, which saved a truck. Like Justin Marks had it in our truck and hit head on and door tops down, basically killed it, the whole chassis of it. And that's all I thought of in that moment. And then obviously Gateway, like once the brake rotor fell, luckily it kind of spun me into the wall, but I didn't ever plan on turning left. Like I've always once you see one big hit, you're like, man, if that ever happens, you got to like just train your mind. Like I've always thought about like straight, like don't turn left at Pocono if you brake. Like,
no, don't do that. You're just going to hit a ramp.
Yeah. Just hook right and just know day's over anyways.
I thought it was cool on the broadcast how they talked about the Jimmy Johnson one from years ago, Watkins Glen, and he jumped the sand pit, but what he landed in was a huge tire barrier. And clearly he took a massive hit, but he got out and walked away. They didn't have that there. Like if he had gone straight and jumped the sand pit or whatever, like he was going to be in a world of mess. So huge heads up play by Chandler. I did ask the question, and nobody told me. Maybe you know, Carson. When we saw the explosion and what appeared to be brake rotor parts going all over the racetrack, why do you lose all brakes at that point? Like why didn't he have 3 brakes that were working to slow him down? How does that work? You know?
Well, it's like I think it's when that thing explodes, it loses. I mean, all the fluid's coming out.
Yeah. Well, plus 2, left front, like that canister's right there, so it probably popped the canister, popped the line, and I mean, plus 2 that it's like blowing a tire. You know, like why can't you turn left? You have 3 other tires.
Once you get that fluid hot too, it's
over.
It's not.
That's hard to watch. Like you're watching and you're like, man, he's got a problem, and then you see boom, and you're like, well, now he's got a bigger problem. But you can't conceptually see that he's running 170.
Like I had a little break at Gateway left. Like when I was like trying to roll down pit road, like I had brake enough to like stop, but like it's just long, like super long. Like, it does something when you're at like 6 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's not going to do it when you're doing 150 into the corner.
All right, final topic. Spot on, spot off. High tire wear and a low number of cautions opens the door for strategy to dictate the Cup race at Richmond. Brett.
Listen, we're here for it. I mean, we want high tire wear. We want high horsepower. We want the cars to be able to be racier than what they've been. So I thought it was pretty cool that we had a Richmond wear strategy played out. Listen, but we also saw a lot of guys screw themselves. You know, I mean, we talked about that earlier. Tyler Reddick, this guy is one of the best race car drivers in my mind in all of NASCAR right now. I truly think his talent level is that high. But for whatever reason, he and that team, man, they just can't have a mistake-free race and go out there and get max points and have a chance to win some more races. Obviously, they got the win at Coda earlier in the year, but that's a team that I really think should be winning 3 to 5 races a year with the talent that Tyler has. He misses pit road, runs over the box. Now he's got to pass through. Brad Keselowski, stage win, running up front. Obviously having a great day with Buescher winning the race, but Brad Keselowski goes in there and screws up. Like these guys, it just shows you, and this is a phenomenal part of being a race fan right now, it shows you how hard they're trying. Because I came up in the 90s and the 2000s where they'd go out there and ride around at 80, 90%, save their equipment, try to keep track position. That last fuel run, it was balls to the wall. Now it's balls to the wall the whole race. So I thought Richmond was a great race. We had a lot of strategy play out. You know, obviously not a lot of natural cautions, but that doesn't mean it's a bad race.
I'm spot on for it. I thought it was interesting to see the play the 19 of them were making, whether it was going to work out or not. And, you know, we don't have to have a lot of cautions to have a good race. And those guys were on edge. I mean, you know, another thing, you know, you had guys running all the way to the fence. So, I mean, I don't know how you get it to be any better than that. It's okay to have and the pace, like these guys were having, I don't think the race fans or people in that poll right there that you just showed me know how hard these guys are driving to hit their marks. Like the way that Busher was and Brad was, and even Kyle and them up front, like making yourself get to that paint. It's a technique, and it's hard to do there. There's not many guys that actually figure it out at Richmond, and you've seen it. You've spotted races there. How many guys really figure out how to drive Richmond? Not many.
Yeah.
And
watching those guys manage that forward bite off of 4, man, that's so fun.
And that entry into 1 to get to the bottom.
I mean, Gluck's poll, 55% said it was a good race, 45% said it's not. Carson, was it a good race? You were there.
I'm spot on, but I have 2 things. I would, number one, I want to see. I'm curious what resin would do to the racetrack. I think resin makes Nashville a really, really good racetrack, and I like having how the rubber gets added. Like I feel like the resin adds a lot of rubber to the racetrack. Like Richmond, it doesn't seem like it ever really rubbers up. I didn't really see a lot of rubber. I'm generally curious what that would do personally, just because I know how important the paint is, but with dirty air, like I'd like to be able to move around. Like we in the trucks can move around a little bit, and you could run side by side. So if I had a little bit more rubber, if you had to chase the rubber a little bit, the paint's still going to be the fastest because it's the shortest and you have the grip on there.
Right.
But it allows a little bit of move around.
I think it ruins it. I do.
You really?
I mean, I saw the 23 and maybe Priest race side by side for like 6 laps. But Priest was able to clear him on the bottom. But, man, he had to be so disciplined to do it. And I think like what you said about the trucks, if you put resin down, I think everybody just runs up, and then you're never going to be able to use the bottom to pass because it was close already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the only thing I look at, right, the resin, we put down rubber, but then we pick it back up. So then it almost resets. Like in the truck race, even in Xfinity, I thought was the most fun that weekend for me. I had a lot of fun at Nashville because, like, you ran the bottom for a while, then you'd move up, and then you try to go higher, and then you're always chasing the grip. And Nashville truck, it was the same way. Like every restart, you'd almost like have a fresh track. It was like racing.
But I
dirt.
think you get a lot of. I think you have a lot more cautions in the Xfinity race and the truck race too to pick stuff up because how many times did we slow down yesterday? 3, 4.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it? How many? Was there any? There's only like 3 or 4 cautions at most.
I think it was the 2 stage cautions, and
so you're talking average of 100 laps a run. That's a it's a
Yeah.
long
and
time.
One at the very end.
The caution at the end was a surprise, and I don't know what happened. I never really saw.
I saw it
when Noah took Suarez out. Was he mad?
No, he just had tires, and he was just trying to get all he could.
Yeah, I got you.
He was back in Chicago. Missed the corner.
How much endurance does that require
For spotters? That's pretty
for,
bad.
Well, for spotters and
We're athletes.
drivers, more of just like you have to be on for those long green flag runs without really
y'all
any
get
breaks
chairs?
during the race.
No.
Only Hirschman because he brings his own.
Yeah. You
Y'all
can't
don't-
see over the fence if you got a chair.
You don't have like a stool, like a high stool or anything?
No, don't really
Nah.
work.
And you're in such a hurry. I mean, you can't carry all that. But I don't know. I mean, it's definitely the drivers. And I know people don't think about it, like they're working their asses off, man. At Richmond like that, to be that precise and
And
to,
it's that hot, too.
and it's hot and the car's not handling good. Like we were so loose in. Brad was having a really hard time because we get that left front of the paint and it just swing the back around and we couldn't, like our left front's on the paint and our left rear's a foot off of it. But here comes, like Chris could get to it and stay both left sides right on it, and it was really, really good. So, but to see these guys go in there, and I mean, I could actually see them yawed out, like whenever they go into the corner, and man, they're working, man, and that pace with as hot as it was slowing down, and so you got to mentally tell. I mean, he knows you got to mentally challenge yourself, like, okay, I got to slow down to go faster right here. That Richmond's a big place for that, in my opinion. You know,
How much does that cool suit help you?
Just a little bit. I don't think like it doesn't make you ice cool. It just helps you. It helps you from overheating.
Yeah.
Like basically, it gets you. You get hot, right? You get warm, but it helps you never get that hot. You know, it just keeps you from getting to a certain point of just overheating.
Do you still run with it the cool box to help get more oxygen to the helmet versus?
I run it in an Xfinity car. I don't have it in the truck. I just have a cool suit.
Yeah.
But honestly, I just had a helmet blower originally, but when I broke my ankle, I couldn't work out. I wasn't even walking, so I was so wore out. They're like, "Yeah, we're gonna buy you one."
Yeah,
you no question.
That's what spotters need, is that cool suit. That would fix a lot of problems. They won't give us shade. I mean, they're sitting, these drivers these days, they're sitting in the car. They're sitting, first of all, they're comfortable. They're in a mold-fitted seat to their body. They got shade with a roof over their head. Now they got a cool suit. Like any minute, they're going to have some chick riding with them, fanning them in there.
don't most of the seats still have cutouts in them and stuff for air?
Yeah.
Or they stopped doing that as much?
In the Xfinity car, I've never had that many blowers in my car. Feet blower, back blower, helmet blower, cool suit.
Spotter blow. Probably shouldn't say that.
That sounded great. Probably there's your title of the show.
I'm not titling the show that.
Gisbergen and spotter boys. I mean, great.
That's what you said, Brett?
Great show.
You know,
Good
people,
job.
And people also really struggle with this narrow, curved pit road. I mean, it's terrible, isn't it?
I know.
TJ's, take us through what happened there with Brad's pit stop and almost not making it in there. What happened there?
I don't know. I gave him the 5 away, and I start looking around at like other things for cautions on the track and stuff like that. And I look in there, and we're kind of pointed at a different angle, and it cost us like 3 seconds, maybe just a couple. I mean,
It cost you a chance to win the race because you don't know what's going to happen on that last restart if you're still up there.
That's true. But I mean, I don't think we were going to beat Chris. Chris's car was better at that point, but it definitely took us out of a late race restart position. We got behind and got to, we were racing for 4th, 5th, 6th, somewhere in that area at that point. But, that didn't.
What do you think that win does for Chris Buescher and Roush Fenway, Keselowski Racing?
Well, it locks them into the playoffs.
Yeah. But what do you truly, what
Thanks,
does it do
CJ.
for the culture right now?
I mean,
It's been a hot minute.
it's 2 years in a row now that and there's been three races this year where one something falls a different way for us. Both Atlanta races, we were leading the first one. We make one other move. We could that's a possible win. I felt like Daytona 500 led the most laps that race. Second Atlanta. There was another race where we were really fast. A couple races we were really fast too this year. And I don't know. I mean, you can see the change in the place. I think we talked about it a week or two ago a lot, but man, it's slowly changing, and I think this just validates that even more. That the place is becoming more competitive every week. People are seeing our cars in the top 5 and top 10. I think this is 3 straight top 10s or so for Brad, and to lead. I mean, I don't know what we led yesterday. Led over 100 laps probably. To drive around the cars that we did, I mean, opens eyes. Like, we lapped the Hendrick cars, and that's not very
Hendrick
often.
cars, Hendrick cars, they were struggling
But
yesterday.
it's still, though, I mean, you're
No, I get it.
lapping,
I get it.
And people were like, I had one spotter come up to me and goes, "How'd you guys get the lead?" And I'm like,
We drove up there.
"Because we're fast."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like,
Which spotter was that?
It was Josh.
Oh, that
Because
makes sense.
he was on a different cycle and he was catching us trying to get his lap back, and he had about 10 lap better tires, and he was like, I think it just surprised them that we were leading the race, but I think it's huge it's just more momentum, man. More momentum.
Who's your spotter? Tyler Green?
Tyler Green.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Herm obviously spots for Buescher. I hope he enjoyed the Crown and Ginger last night because
I'm sure he did.
that's a big win.
He's probably still sleeping.
Ask Tyler Green about that time I took him out in Vegas.
All right. Does Chris and Brad drive similar? Like, do they drive the same? Like, do they like the same stuff? They always run next to each other. It seems like I've
think-
noticed TV say that.
I think Chris has learned a lot from Brad too, though. But I think I think Chris is getting a chance to show his talent a lot more too. They do drive. I think they drive similar because in the meetings and stuff, they have a lot of the same, talks about things and like traits and characteristics but I think they have a similar driving style, and I think that helps a lot because like you were saying though, a lot of times you'll see one car run good at a company and the next car is 15 spots behind them. Like our cars they tend to both perform around the same. If Chris is good, Brad's usually good too, and
I think Chris is a guy too that you talked about it earlier, Carson. Like he's got that Matt Kenseth persona to me. Like he's not a big personality. He's pretty quiet in the media. You don't hear a lot out of him. Obviously, Matt Kenseth won a ton of races, but he races like Matt. He doesn't tear up a lot of stuff. He doesn't put himself in a lot of bad positions. He's got to go out here and do what he did yesterday and win if he wants to stick around here in a top level ride.
Watching him behind us, and when we were leading the race, and I was telling Brad every move that Chris was trying to make because Brad was leaving a couple feet on the bottom on exit of 4, and Chris was using that air in the paint right there. So I tell Brad takes it away. Next thing you know, Chris is trying a little bit higher entry into 1, getting to the bottom a little bit later. So I'm like, Brad, you got to corner a little bit more. You'll put him in some dirty air earlier, and he'll have a hard time turning to the bottom. But I see these little things that he's trying, and it's like, damn, dude, quit. I just want to lead and get away from you. You stop doing this.
Yeah.
But it's cool because you see him doing that stuff, and he's quietly a very Matt Kenseth talented race car driver.
I find it interesting too that like you said, Carson, like the RFK cars were running up front. Then it was also the 2311 cars. It was like their day as well. So it seemed like it was like a team-oriented race.
Yeah, like a lot of times, I don't know if you see both like Trackhouse cars kind of separate sometimes, but our cars do seem to be stuck together quite a bit.
Yeah.
Which I think is good. That shows I walked through the shop there. Literally, this car 17's here and the 6 is right here and the plates together. I mean, they're right there working with each other and stuff. So,
well, let's move on to the DBC A main, where we talk about all things dirt racing.
Hey, hang on 1 second. Hey, Stella.
What?
I'm working. Can I call you back?
I found my Nintendo Switch.
Oh, that's really good. Thank you. I'll give you a piece of chocolate when I get home, okay?
Okay, 2.
All right. Oh, 2? Okay. Love you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
She's got it tough. It's a
What'd
water
she
with
find?
chocolate.
So they went to Disney a handful of months ago, and ever since they went to Disney, they couldn't find her Nintendo Switch. And Switches are
Expensive.
yeah, and I have not been happy since. So this is a good day.
She found it.
Yeah, and she
Gets chocolate now.
I'll tell you really quick, the worst thing that I did, she's going to turn 6 on Wednesday. The worst thing that I did is teach her how to use the browser on her iPad and the talk to text because she doesn't know how to spell everything.
Right.
And so she'll be like searching. She hits the little thing, goes, pool toys. Oh, Barbie dolls with long hair. And she get, then I get, stupid me taught her how to send me that link. So I get links all the time. And but listening to her word things, it is scary sometimes because she'll be like, hey, I want toys for love, and I'll be like, nope, we're not searching that. Give me that iPad. Let me see your iPad.
Well, if she has your shopping addiction, because TJ buys everything, he owns every gadget known to man.
Mostly sim racing stuff.
Yeah,
and things
you
like
definitely
that.
need to
Are
filter
you a
her
Facebook
search.
Marketplace guy, or you just buy everything?
I have bought one thing off Facebook Marketplace.
Really?
Yeah, I bought a set of pedals, but it was a good deal.
How was that experience?
It was fine.
Yeah.
It was great.
He just
I'm
tells me on the way in
always
here he's getting ready to
skeptical.
buy a new car. Like this
No.
guy buys everything.
Someone throw up in it?
No,
Oh.
I would probably do it if he did that. But he probably has. He's a sim racer. He probably has a lot of stuff too.
I have a lot.
See?
TJ, what pedals you got?
Well, that's funny that you say that. Did you know what I have?
I don't.
Those some of the ones I bought off the marketplace. So I have
That's not what kind. That's where you bought
I
it.
mean I have 4 different pedal sets in
Okay.
my house. I have Simtrex, Houstonfelds. I have Fanatec's or whatever you want to call. I have too much.
All right, listen up. I know this is important. A lot of big sporting moments are coming up. A lot of big tailgates. College football's on the way. We're already right smack dab in the middle of racing season. And when you're a big sports fan, there's nothing better to do then look around your house and figure out how you're going to upgrade and get the best experience of these sporting events possible.
Yeah, Brett, I mean, our new sponsor, Moneyline, is an all-in-one mobile finance app. They obviously do a lot to support 2311 racing, and now they've jumped on board here at DBC.
Yeah, and the best part, they want to chip in with a little something to help get you started. That's right. Free money.
Up to $55 free money. Use the code $DirtyMo. That's $DIRTYMO to get up to $55 after you download that Moneyline app.
Yeah, I mean, you can borrow, save, earn money all in one place. It's a pretty easy app for it. With Moneyline, you're one step closer to getting your financial future on path.
Visit moneyline.com/hotpass for more information.
All right, let's go to the DBCA main where we talk all things dirt racing. Carson, do you race dirt?
He does.
Yeah,
You do?
Bit. Anytime I can get in one, really.
I mean, you go to Eldora, nothing like going to the biggest and most famous, one of the most famous dirt tracks in America. Try to make the biggest late model race.
We weren't bad, actually. We ran 6th in our prelim night in the feature, and we were 27th overall in points, and there were 92 cars. And I mean, I've only ran a dirt late model 4 times, so it's all new world to me.
Did they turn on the freaking fire down the backstretch when you were there?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, I've had the luxury of going to Eldora 3 times. The atmosphere there is phenomenal. It's as good as any racetrack anywhere in this country.
The question is, how many times did they turn it on? They do it every feature.
Yes.
And there's double feature every night, so it was just nonstop.
Yeah.
And then there's the qualifier, then there's the last chance, and they
Crank it up.
The guy that works that deal has a great time because he's just nonstop, just hitting that button.
Oh man, I love it.
That would be kind of fun. The fireworks guy. That'd be pretty neat.
Yeah.
That would
just
be a good
nonstop
job.
trying to figure
Do you
out
think
different
they have
ways
it
to blow
wired
stuff
up? You know what I mean? Do you think they have like some sort of permanent thing in the ground back there where like a dude just be, fire, flips the switch and it's like.
I wouldn't trust myself with that switch, but I would trust myself more than I would trust Clint Boyer with that switch.
Well, have you ever,
I'd never trust Clint with that. There ain't no way.
you ever seen those videos where like it accidentally instead of going in the line, right? Like it just all of them go off at one
That would be
time.
kind of cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You ever throw more? Nah, I'm gonna stop.
Were there any good dirt races this weekend on TV? I didn't watch any.
Yeah, there were some good dirt races. A buddy of mine flipped out of the park at Williams Grove.
Ooh.
It was Williams Grove, I think.
It's a cool racetrack.
Yeah, another guy gave him a right rear into the front stretch, and he ended up next to a tree outside of turn 1. So,
Jeez.
good job.
Carson, we hear drivers like Kyle Larson, I guess when Christopher Bell did race dirt, that it helps them on the NASCAR side. Would you say that you pick things up when you race dirt?
I think so. I think the dirt lane mount helps me a lot. It took me a little bit to learn that you lift down the straightaway and then you're more in throttle in the corner. Like that took me a little bit in the dirt late mount to figure out, and it ultimately helped me. Like we ran Kansas last year, and I wasn't very good at running the fence in a stock car. I ran Eldora the first time ever in a dirt late model. We went to Eldora that Thursday night, and then I flew to Kansas, and I thought it was pretty crazy that you could it was a perfect storm to reassure that their investment in a dirt late model was a good investment, because I was like, man, it helped me a lot to Kansas. I was like, I would probably tell you this anyway. I would probably tell you this because I want to run the dirt car more, that it was good, but it genuinely, I thought, helped me just kind of understand you don't need to go super fast into the corner. You actually can back it up and then just make all your speed from the 1/3 mark all the way through.
I'll tell you what I see with it too is I watched at Richmond. I watch the first guys that look around for grip, and you can find grip at Richmond low on the exit of 4, and so I watched you watch Briscoe in practice. He busted off a couple laps in practice, and he was going in way high, stopping, and then turning down. He was almost like he was coming to pit road off of turn 2, finding grip, and he was doing the same thing out of 4. But those are techniques that the guys in dirt do to get to the grip. They get up and they get real low. Half these times when they come off turn 2, the Outlaws, watching Larson and them run, they look like they're against the inside wall, but they're flying too because they're in the grip. And I do think that translates. You remember Larson? One thing that stands out to me is Larson leaving turn 4 at North Wilkesboro. he was like way lower than everybody else off of 4, and it's because he's down there getting grip, and then everybody started doing it. So I think dirt teaches things like that as well. But
You're nonstop moving around. I even tried that the test. I ran his line off
At
too.
Wilkesboro?
Remember when that was my favorite race because
Yeah.
you were nonstop moving around trying to find different lines. And I tried what he was doing. You remember how he would like be super slow and then turn down and get
yeah.
on the new concrete.
Oh yeah.
Or new asphalt, whatever it is, and turn 2 and like run through the dirt. Well, I tried that and it broke the nose. So I'm like, you can't do that. And he did it. I did it a little further around the corner. He did it and it was so dirty. It was so new. Like it never would have worked. But when everybody cleaned it
always
off,
looking.
it was when I saw him do it. I'm like, damn it, I had that idea, and I thought I already wrote it off. I'm like, dang it! Like
They started
now
doing
I'm
the
like
cup
scratching
race.
it off.
Like Denny started. I mean, they all they saw Larson do it, and here comes like Bell and Denny started doing it, and I had to tell Brad at one point that, look, man, I mean these guys are finding grip another lane lower. I know you're gonna hit your head on the headrest when you hit it, but I mean they're doing it.
They're doing it. It was pretty funny yesterday. Larson caught Denny at one point, and when I'm telling you he knocked him out of the way, they showed Denny's in-car, and Denny's clearly focused on what he's doing. And when he gets hit, you almost see his body jump like somebody jumped out from the corner and said boo. Like he was not expecting that hard of a contact. Now, did he lose his composure and do something stupid? No. But he literally jumped inside the race car reacting to Kyle knocking him out of the way.
You think Larson keyed up right when it happens that never touched him?
Never touched him. He definitely touched him. That was something. Y'all talked about testing. Any insight going into this Richmond test that's happening this week on these Cup cars,
Man,
what they're doing?
I'm quietly excited to see, how it is. I will tell you this, though. The air was pretty bad at Richmond, but it wasn't. I feel like it was better than Martinsville because you have lanes. You could move up and run that little bit of higher entry. And it's such a technique there to run the bottom that people slip up and leave you that little bit of air, right? And then once they get in within a couple car lengths, they can roll that lane higher and then turn down. You're kind of in trouble at that point. But this, from what I've read and heard about this package, I guess it's like 100 count more downforce for the car behind or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that's
what they're hoping for.
Yeah.
The splitter.
So I guess it's supposed to be a pretty big difference. So
I hope it's good.
yeah, hey, they're trying, right? Which is all we can ask for. So keep working on it, making it better.
I think the 100 pounds gained of downforce was something that they already discovered before this Richmond test, that they were like doing wind tunnel testing, and like that was something that has already been discovered. So,
But now they're going to try it.
but yeah.
I mean, there's a difference between the wind tunnel and
Yeah.
the real track.
No, that's true.
I don't know if you know that or not, but
I do. Yeah.
just checking. This kid also put diesel in a gasoline-powered car, so just so you know.
You did that too?
Years. Oh yeah, you did that.
Yeah, I did that.
Oh, my God.
Wait, did you do the reverse?
What do you mean? What?
Wait, did you put regular gas in a diesel car, or you put diesel
put-
in?
This is a meeting of the minds right here, let me tell you.
I put regular gas in a diesel truck.
Oh, you guys are like
I
opposites.
put
yin and
diesel
yang over
in a
here.
regular.
Hold on, how do you do that? Like, do you have a diesel truck that you
Yeah.
like?
Show us, how'd you do it? Go ahead. Show us your hand movements.
No, I'm not going to
No,
show you
but
the
like-
hand movement. I didn't know. This was years and years ago. Like, I just got my license, and I didn't know the difference, and I just, like, held it in even though it didn't fit.
Wow.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I know.
So wait,
If it
so you-
doesn't fit,
wait,
there's
so
probably
you
a
had-
sign you
had
shouldn't be
no-
there.
You had no diesel vehicle at all.
No.
So
No.
you just randomly grabbed the diesel one?
Yeah.
You're a lot stupider
There's
than me.
a joke
then.
that I want to say right now, but it's definitely not.
See, where
Well-
my excuse from it is I used my mom's Tahoe for a while. I had my truck. I never even was close to messing up. Well, I had my mom's Tahoe,
Yeah.
and I brought it. I had to bring something down for her and then bring something back. So I came down
It
to
was
North
diesel?
Carolina. It's
No, it's not diesel.
It's
Yeah.
not diesel.
Damn,
But it's
diesel Tahoe.
it's identical, like interior and everything, and she needs 93 premium. So I'm like, oh, don't mess mom's car up. So I drove 14 hours, Michigan, North Carolina, spent some days in North Carolina, drove back, flew down, first time my truck needs fuel, and I'm like, 93, like there's not a diesel. The one pump I go to doesn't have diesel. 93, pull out, got like on the exit ramp. I'm like, all right.
You didn't go far.
I'm on the phone with mom, and I'm like, yeah, this and that. And I'm like,
Oh, God.
where are you at, mom? She's like, I'm in the truck. I'm in the car. I'm like, Like I threw it in neutral and it just started to like lock up and got me for $1,600 cleaning that thing out. But
That's a lot.
They said if
Can't just drain the fuel and change spark plugs?
well, they got to change the filter, they got to change the labor, they got to do everything. So
It probably took them all day to do it too.
oh yeah, it took them 2 days. I'm like, thanks.
Don't let it drain
But
out.
they said if it went through the system, it would have been $16,000. So
Damn.
that would have been
Man, that'd have been like Carvana. Come get it. This runs great.
Sell the car.
Wow.
So luckily, I'm like, okay. And luckily, and the worst part was it wasn't even my. It's not even like really my truck. I'm on a. It's
You know,
just
I
like
can
a
actually
lease.
probably excuse yours a little easier than him because
Yeah.
that doesn't fit. Like,
No,
it
I know.
doesn't fit.
Like I said, I was very new to getting my license.
Oh,
and
yeah, I
it was
didn't
a-
even realize that part. So you had to like you struggled at.
That's
it.
Yeah,
what I'm
Like,
saying. Like,
yeah.
how did you even get it in
Here's
there?
the only thing that is confusing.
Stand
Maybe
up and
it's
show
just
me how you did it.
no, I'm not going to show you. This could be the only thing, and then this is getting off topic, but in Illinois, like
'Cause that matters.
some regular gas pumps are green. So like I had used regular normal gas pumps that were just straight up green.
No, but you got to click the thing. No, right?
Did
Like,
you not
Yeah.
read? It says diesel.
I know, yeah.
Not color coded. Like,
So I'm not that.
He was from Illinois. Give him.
I
a
don't
break.
care about that. I just wonder, like, did you not like be like, oh yeah, hey, this isn't fitting. What's wrong? You're not like, oh, well, let me read what I'm putting in here, and maybe no, you just kept on digging.
Yeah, committed to the.
How much was the
committed
bill?
To it. Luckily, it was within warranty of us buying the car, so they warranted.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They warranty stupidity?
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty awesome.
Hey, you think Jason Schultz still bills the company for the prime parking?
I bet he does. VVIP.
Yeah, our old
Wow.
producer, he used to go to the airport and just park in the hourly for like 4 days and then turn the bill in.
Let's move on to reaction theater, shall we?
Yes.
I swear Martin Truex Jr. is the cryingest race car driver in NASCAR. All he does is all race long, wanting to know, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Oh, we're screwed right here. Oh, we're in big trouble here. Dude, you were running outside the top 20 and you ended up finishing 7th. Have some damn patience and let the race work itself out, not steady push the button on the damn steering wheel and cry every 5 laps.
Guy's a big Truex fan, huh?
Didn't
What did Martin do to him?
Well, Martin, member of the first Richmond race, they pitted. They were on the other side of the strategy, and they ran out of tires at the end. Remember, they put them used tires on, didn't tell him at the end, and he's like, this thing had no grip. And they're like, oh, the crew chief's like, yeah, they were scuffs or something. So, oh, why didn't you tell me?
They definitely didn't need to suspend or get rid of Paul Tracy in the SRX series. I'll tell you what, he should have a spotter, and he should be the only one with a spotter. His mirrors must not work or something.
He races like an idiot.
Yeah, so the mirrors, they have 2 mirrors in that thing. It's the little side mirror, which is probably also the smallest side mirror that you can have. Brad told me you can't see out of them cars at all. And most of them guys,
Paul can't even see out the front of them.
well, yeah, and that's been an issue for like 3 years now. So, or how many years has it
So
been
is he
going on?
ultimately suspended? Like gone?
He's gone for a while.
Indefinitely.
Yeah.
They didn't give a time range on when he.
I
would
mean,
come
Schrader
back.
was pissed.
Yeah.
Did you see Schrader?
Yeah. Oh,
When
yeah.
Kenny Schrader's mad, something's wrong because that guy is like the most easygoing guy, racer, and understands everything. He didn't like hitting that inside wall.
No.
So, and it was
Well, he's-
clearly avoidable.
I was just say they got the perfect time to do it though, to have Johnny Benson at Berlin.
Yeah,
to fill
I
in.
know. And Johnny runs like those cars up there with like a wing the size of this brick wall.
Super mods.
Yeah, but don't they have those big wall wings on them? I thought he ran those cars too, like those late models with the. Are he like
How old is Johnny Benson? I got to look that up while y'all talk about it.
104?
Oh, the Outlaw late model.
Yeah, didn't he run them too?
That's only like once.
I've
Like,
seen him run that super.
So he used to have
Okay.
the Outlaw late model I grew up racing was actually his. So when he was getting out of that,
So you got a
that's
good
the-
car.
That's the Outlaw late model I ran.
He's born in 63. What's that put him?
60.
60?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
It'd be cool to have him back, man. I remember him. He's a super nice guy. Always was to me, man. Him driving that Cheerios car, that was fun.
I remember it wasn't but a couple months ago or so, 3 months ago, that I was watching some race on something, and he was in it. They were it might have been a track in Ohio, super modifieds or something, and he was running like second or third. Might have been Jennerstown, maybe something like that. But
yeah,
he was competitive still, so good for him. He'll be good. He'll be good at Berlin.
This is your weekly Blaney fan update. We are currently drinking beers in the bathtub, but we'll get them next week. Go Twins.
Okay, I'm a little bit concerned about.
That sounds like you. I'm not gonna lie.
How bad did Blaney run this week?
he was not good.
Where did he end up? I don't know.
He's not as bad as Cindric. Who is we are drinking beer in the bathtub? That's the concern. And how big is this bathtub?
Did he say we?
He said we are drinking beer.
Yeah.
But I mean, most bathtubs aren't big enough for we. You know. I mean, take Carson Hocevar right here. Guy's 6'8" over here beside of me. Do you want to be in a bathtub drinking beer with him right now?
I'm not getting in a bathtub with him. It's not happening.
I'm not getting in a bathtub with anybody. My legs stick out anyways.
Oh, I bet they do. Dude, if you put
I can't take a bath. I take a bath in a pool. It's the only way I fit.
I hate people's feet on me, and I bet your toes are like really long because you're so damn tall. If your toes touch me, I would vomit. I hate feet. I hate even pretty girls' feet. Not a feet guy.
Do you hate your own feet?
Yes,
so
I do. I don't like my feet either.
You're telling me. I gotta stop.
No.
No, I mean, hottest girl known to man.
Don't touch me with your feet.
You're not touching her feet?
No, don't touch me with your feet.
Why? What's wrong with her feet?
I don't.
Are you able to go to the beach?
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't sit there and play footsies with.
Yeah, but I mean, do you notice other people's feet when you're sitting there and stuff?
No, I don't like look. I'm not like footophobia, but just don't like
So,
toes.
like,
it ain't really the feet as much as
do you
it is the
make sure
toes.
not to look down though? Like are you like actively avoiding looking at people's feet?
It's the toes I have a problem with.
Well, what's the toe? Like
I don't know the toenails. Get your feet off me. He's got shoes on, thank God.
Blaney finished 14th.
Oh, that's not bad.
We drink a beer in the bathtub, he said.
maybe it's like a celebratory. Like maybe it's like he's like happy about it.
Maybe.
He didn't sound very happy.
That's about to buy a fake foot on Amazon and put it on the table here and push it on Brett.
See, I'm getting hot.
No, you just gotta cut the toe out. Like you just gotta have just cut toes.
Why are we at Richmond in July? Why? It's hot. It's hot everywhere.
It is.
Why in Richmond, Virginia in July? There's plenty of tracks. Holy heck, NASCAR. Come on, Ben Kennedy. Let's fix the schedule.
What's wrong with a hot race?
I just hate it for the fans.
It is. I mean,
it's 100 degrees. Heat index probably over 100. I think it's a better race during the day than it is at night, but I just hate it for the fans. I mean, we talked about it last year at Atlanta, man. We were all there just dying.
But that's no different than going to a football game. That's no different than going to a baseball game.
Yeah, but the football games are always
football games starting to fall.
night.
Yeah. I mean,
college starts in the summer.
September, but they're night games,
hot.
man. There'll be 7:30 kickoff in Charlotte right here.
I promise you, there's more day games than night games in college football. It is don't televise them.
Yeah, I don't know. In the South, I don't know about that.
Well, they don't televise them probably because the stands aren't full,
or they're just small.
Well, I was in New Mexico last week. And it was 107. It was hot. It's hot. The guy's right. It's hot everywhere.
I will tell you this: if we go and run Richmond later in the fall, you're going to be like, "Why run Richmond in the fall? It's raining all the time." Oh, I missed the race because it ran on Monday. We need to run this in the summer. Okay.
It's like Martinsville where they're all complaining.
Yes.
Now they wanted a day race because there's too much grip. You know, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But
yeah, there's no.
It definitely was a little like I've never been outside the racetrack, and I was walking around. I never noticed how many people like the stands would be full if everybody's in the stands.
Yes.
But they're all like there were hundreds and hundreds of people just under the stands. You know, just
hanging
listen to scanner.
I think going into it. You know if you're going to a race during the day, it's going to be hot. And luckily, the race didn't go green until like 3:30, 3:40 something. So you're kind of past the hottest part of the day anyway. So I don't know. I also don't mind it because if it does rain, that track dries quick. And in the fall when you get that rain and it's cold, that thing takes forever to dry.
Yeah.
I've been watching this sport and I've devoured every freaking episode on digital download for the last 3 or 4 years. I still don't understand what the point system is. So that's the problem with NASCAR. When you watch football, They score a touchdown, they get 6 points. They get the extra point, they get a field goal, they get 3 points. Basketball, same thing. 3-pointers are 3-pointers, a 2-pointer is a 2-pointer, a free throw is a 1-pointer. Soccer, hockey, 1 point. Don't even know those games. I know it's 1 point.
Carson and I were talking about before the show, like, it is hard to keep up with the points and knowing who's where, and I don't know how we simplify it. Like, I think that the point system is probably really good right now, but it is confusing if you don't really understand it, and it's a lot to understand.
I mean, I don't understand a lot of the, like, you understand the point system, but that's the game. You understand, okay, stage. Like, I don't understand the playoffs. I don't understand, like, any other sport. Like, it's confusing if you're not, like, a hardcore fan, but, like, at the same time, like, the regular season, I feel like, is the easiest part. You win, you're in.
Yeah.
Like, you're high enough in points, like, you're in. I feel like that part's simple, just, like, how many points you get and, like, trying to keep up once you're to the playoffs of, like, your playoff bonuses and what all the bonuses and where everything is. Like, that part's confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everything's weighted, you know, more now than it ever has been, and wins are super important. Playoff points are really important. You have banked, and I've been in this position a handful of times in the Cup Series. We've banked a lot of playoff points going in to the playoffs, and man, does it make it a lot easier. But you race your ass off in the beginning of the year and fight like heck to get those, and that's why people race so hard. That's why that's why you don't have, me and Brett were around whenever a guy had a 200-point lead. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, it's not nearly as exciting when a guy has a 200-point lead, and he honestly runs at about a 7 out of 10 at that point too, and because everyone else has to try a lot harder, and he just cruises along. It's built this way for the race fan to be exciting and pressure packed. So
well, I remember when I was a kid, I always hated when a driver get out and say it's a good points day, or like, I wanted to do this, or we wanted to get aggressive, but we needed the points, or
you couldn't lay it on the line.
And it was like, that's boring. Like, why wouldn't you try to win the 6-year-old me doesn't understand points. I'm like, why wouldn't you win the race?
What year were you born?
2003.
About when I first started spotting.
I don't even care. Carson Hocevar? Yeah, Hocevar is a bitch. Baby back bitch. See you next Tuesday. He ain't worth a damn. I wish I could punch him in the dick.
Jesus. Wow. That was aggressive.
I'm laughing my ass off.
You must know him.
No.
But he said he'll
Was
see
it your PR guy? Is that who called you?
He said he'll see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
Who do you see
Where
tomorrow?
am I going Tuesday?
I don't know. You tell me.
Was that Al Neese?
Probably someone that works at NASCAR, to be honest.
Oh, boy.
That's
that was a
funny.
funny one.
That's it.
Thank God.
That's all we got?
Best for
what
last.
we got?
Yeah.
Right on.
That's what we got.
That sounds like somebody that you would know.
Well, I don't think so. That guy had a lot of hate in his heart.
Well, I know. You know what? What might cancel that out is he didn't. I mean, what?
Yeah, it took him a few.
It took him a minute. And
He was drinking beer in his bathtub, too. Maybe the same guy.
It might have been.
Gosh.
I just laughed that he missed it, got it right, and then was like, oh, wait, I got it right. Now, F that guy. I'm going to get it wrong again. It's awesome.
We had some good ones this week. Make sure you call in to Reaction Theater at 704-802-9572. Just save it to your phone.
You know what you need to do is take those last 4 digits and just come up with a word that you can make out of those letters.
Yeah.
Yes. So we can stop saying that, and they can just get.
Yeah. What if it was Bath?
TJ,
704-802
listen,
Bath.
Easy.
Nobody caught more on this show for Reaction Theater than TJ did when he was spotting for Logano. It was 5 calls a week, and all 5 calls would be bashing TJ and Logano.
Well, there's probably like 30 calls, but they only played 5, so it was not.
How often do you get a Blaney update from that guy?
This is the second week
in a row.
This is the second week in a row. What was the first week?
First week, he's like, pray for us, Blaney fans.
Do you have it?
Andrew would have it.
I probably have it.
It essentially was a pity party.
It's actually pretty good.
He's like, we're sad.
I really hope
we're
he
tired.
Hey, I'm going to go and tell you, BetterHelp.com for that guy.
That's
that
it.
was one of our reads there. So BetterHelp for your Blaney.
And
I mean, maybe
Blaney
he doesn't
had a
need
better
help.
run.
Apparently,
this
he's got
week.
somebody in the hot tub or in his bathtub with him.
Hey, speaking of Blaney, Dave Blaney ran 3rd last night in World of Outlaw race.
Wow.
in Weedsport,
Dang.
New York.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, track was all slick, and he was just running around the bottom. It was awesome.
Well, let's move on to Ask DBC. Send in your questions each week using the hashtag Ask DBC. We'll pick the best ones. This first one is from Chelsea. Carson, when are you going to bring back the hats?
Oh, I don't know. Those are expensive. after
Yeah.
a while.
It says especially the pimp hat.
Especially the pimp hat. Well, that was an easy one. I had a cane. So the story of the cane was, I was off for like 4 weeks or 6 weeks, whatever it was. I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything. Not weight bearing is what they say. But then after a while, they're like, yeah, you're gonna have to work it up, build some strength. You're gonna need some support. You're gonna have to get a cane. So I went to Walmart and went and got a cane and went up and I'm looking through the pharmacy.
You went to Walmart to get a cane?
I went to Walmart to get a cane
That's
because I ordered one online, but it never came. And I'm like, well, I'm leaving to the race. I told everybody I'm not going to have crutches. Crutches are a lot harder. Like, I need a cane. So I went to Walmart pharmacy, got a cane. So I'm in line, and I'm like, man, I'm looking, and I'm going through the aisles and stuff, and I find this, like...
Did you use it right when you picked it up?
I found this foldable cane. Like, I'm like, man, this is sweet. Like, foldable, like, real easy. Well, then this, senior citizen gets a senior citizen discount anytime she goes to a breakfast establishment, grabs the same one as me, and I'm like, oh, man, come on. Like, that's not very... So I'm like, oh, at least hopefully, like, oh, maybe nobody's going to recognize it. The person at the counter goes, oh, how you feeling? I'm like, it's kind of weird. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing all right. And she's like, yeah, well, like, hopefully good luck this weekend. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, she's like, oh, like, my dad's in racing and stuff. He's like, I'm a big fan. I'm like, okay. You just checked out the senior citizen lady getting the same thing as me. Yeah. So I'm like, I need a different cane. So I'm looking it up.
I thought you were going to ask her to buy it.
No, I should have.
For the discount.
I should have.
That's what I'm saying.
So anyway, I'm like, I need a pimp cane. So I found one with like a monkey skull on it and everything, and I'm like, oh, I need to get a pimp hat. So that's where I got the hat. But hats are getting expensive. I'm very fortunate in life that right now I get paid to put a suit on rather than pay to put a suit on. So if I'm gonna spend
define
any
suit, like Nomex or like you sell like
race
car
suit.
You know, like the guy at the car wash trying to get people to pull in.
But
or Chick-fil-A.
It's kind of ran its course. I feel like I would be way out of ideas, and after a while, like certain point, I got to I still have my personality to express myself. I don't need to have a hat.
I would just let your trophies do the talking from here on.
Well, it worked out. My first win, I got a cowboy hat, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm fine just wearing Victory Lane hats.
Yeah.
This next one coming from Mitchell Douglas. How difficult is it navigating the Truck Series playoffs with
Is that really Mitchell? Because I don't see a T.
Oh, I misspelled it then when I copied it over. It is Mitchell. How difficult is it navigating the Truck Series playoffs with all those off weeks in between races?
That's a good question.
It's really tough, honestly. Like I hate that the way the schedule's formatted. Like it's obviously front.
You say that now. Wait till you're rating 38 races.
I'd rather race a lot more often, at least a little bit. Like, well, they obviously front load the schedule because of Fox, right? Like the Fox is on Cup and Xfinity. It's no brainer why they front load our season. But like we run, 2 weeks at IRP and then we have a month off. Like you run your first playoff race and you got to think about it for a month.
Wow,
like
no rhythm to get in.
Like you forget about it, like people forget about it. I feel like the Xfinity and Cup is going to be not even had their start of their playoffs and we're already one race in and.
But you're in a much better position in the truck. It's got to kind of be smooth sailing for you. Like it's smoother right now. Got to be more fun.
Yeah, but at the same time, like. I much rather race. Like I love our 7-8 weeks in a row. Like I'd rather race. Like especially if you like if we go to IRP and crash, you got to think about it for a month. Like you forget about it, you get out of the rhythm.
But you're coming off a win, so I mean.
Yeah, we feel good. Like luckily I'll have an Xfinity race and 2 now. But like that was the biggest thing. Like last year we ran a race and then we had a month off and then we had the first race of the playoffs there. And it's like I felt like I was at a disadvantage because you John Hunter or guys ran Xfinity races or whatever. They're constantly in a rhythm of pit stops and like I don't get pit stop practice. Like I felt like it took me like 2 or 3 laps to get back in a rhythm of driving. Then you're a month plus off of pit road. Your pit guys are out of sync. Like, you can't get in a rhythm and momentum.
You know what it is. Like, usually some of the best races to win are the races before.
Oh yeah.
An off weekend or something like. And I've been a part of a couple of those. And even when COVID hit, I think we won the last race.
Phoenix.
Yeah, I think I won Phoenix with Joey, and then COVID hit, and it was like, I mean, not that it was a fun time, but at least you had momentum. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of it. Like, I didn't race COVID time. Like, I didn't even really run. Like, I can't imagine. Like,
that was so weird.
Well, I didn't run pre-COVID. Like, I always all my truck races. I ran 2 truck races before, but all my races were like COVID, like no practice or anything. So like,
yeah,
I can't imagine like if you crashed out early and then all of a sudden you're off for 3 months.
Yeah,
that's one of the things that I think hurt Haley too, because she came in and went to all these races. Like our first lap at Darlington was lap 1 of the race.
That was mine. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's tough, man. So,
all right, let's move on to One Idiot.
I got a
Who should I
couple.
tee up? GJ, you ready?
You got any good ones, Brad?
I got a few of these.
Well, I'm going to go first because the guy already kind of stole mine, though. But, I mean, it has to be Paul Tracy. And it has to be whoever thought bringing Paul Tracy back to start with. And I know this is the second time I've gone through this in the show, but Paul Tracy, and then he's tweeting about it or Instagramming about it.
Did he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, somebody sent him a message and saying Paul Tracy shouldn't be fired. Don Hawk is an idiot. And Paul basically was like, man, I keep my circle small and all this. But, no, Paul, sorry, man.
Keep your car wide.
Yeah.
Circle small.
Yeah.
I got, my first one. So I listened to the Dale Jr. download a little bit, and I hear him bring up, they're talking about the Denny and Kyle deal. And when I was working with Dale Jr., we were short track racing. And, when a guy's running you hard, like a Ryan Newman or somebody, when you finally get position on the guy, when I say position on the guy, you get your right front in front of his left front. What do people do at short tracks? You wash up half a lane because they're going wherever you go.
You're carrying them.
So I'm like, we would race super hard, and I would tell him, take what you need down here because that means he's at your door, and you can kind of let's clear this guy and get away from him. Nowhere does take what you need ever get used at like a mile and a half where you got a guy in your door. And he brought that reference up. He's like, yeah, TJ just told me. I never told him that at a Michigan or a Pocono. You don't take what you need there because you're probably going. You're going to lose the air off the side of your car at that point. But yeah, at short tracks, I would say that. So I texted him about it, and he's like, it was good content. I'm like, okay, wow, I got your.
So Dale Jr.'s your what an idiot.
Yeah, well, I got another one too. So
TJ won't just say yeah. He's like,
oh, yeah, I said yeah first right there, didn't I?
You said it.
And this one's even better, though. So I'm watching the Xfinity race, and I'm listening. I'm scanning around to different radios and stuff, and they have a restart, and I'm listening to Josh, and I'm watching on SMT at the same time and the TV, and I see Josh get run off in turns 3 by the 19, and then a couple corners later, I see on SMT, I see the 19 car just kind of go off in a corner and doesn't really come back on right away. So I'm like, oh boy, something happened there. So I flip over to the 19 and I hear, they're talking, the caution come out and they're talking and the driver's like, yeah, we kind of got real close to each other in one race. They're racing hard, and then he's like, and I ran him off in turn 3 and then he just spun me out in turn 5. And then the crew chief's like, well, next time you see him, he needs to be walking. I want to see him walking back to the truck. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, you had the driver just admit, like, I just ran him off. And, like, how does that, like, you basically started the fight right there, right? If you run a guy off, how'd that work for Sage at Road America a handful of times? Sage would just get into the middle of the corner and throttle up and run guys off. Well, finally a guy had enough of it and sent him. So I don't, like, to me it's like, okay, well, maybe you shouldn't have done that and this wouldn't have happened. Now it's, nope, he needs to be walking back to the truck. So that group there would be my what an idiot.
Who was it?
I don't know who they are.
Oh,
The driver didn't say that he was, but I don't know who the crew chief was of the car.
How often does that happen, you think? Like, I feel like we are hearing about it a lot more. Maybe I'm not the right person to ask this question. But like
it's always happened.
Yeah.
It's just always. Spotters.
Is it just more more televised now?
Yeah,
more known?
I think,
is it that deal of
that wasn't a spotter at all in that.
I know.
Is it all these like is it like that whole deal of like, did we have all these problems now just because we have social media, or like now, or like it's that
people have access to
you
it,
have
so you
you have all these problems, right? But it's like you only hear about it now because it's now a known topic.
Yeah, the crew chief has spent endless hours on that car to get it ready to race. So it's like punching his kid. When he sees you punch his kid, he wants to punch whoever punched his kid. So the reality is we're all full of emotions, and they're barking on the radio, and they mean what they say when they say it. It's just the problem. The problem is, well, the problem is now, we're starting to suspend people. When you go back to what happened with Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson last year, once that happened, now it's like it can't be premeditated. It can't be on purpose. When it's too much, too much. Like, so you're asking it's always been here. To answer your question, it's never been in the forefront like it is right now across the board. But nobody cared what crew chief on the 51 car said, 5 years ago, and now they care what all of them say.
Yeah, my point of thing was like, how do you just, hey Brett, man, I know you're my crew chief. I just ran this guy off, and he come back and spun me out. Well, then you come on there and be like, well, you need to wreck him. Well, I kind of just did, and I didn't do it good enough.
You already pushed him off the king of the hill, and he came back and drug you off.
I didn't do it. You didn't do it good enough is what he should have said. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who's your what an idiot, Carson? You said you got a bunch.
No, I was just more meaning like I've won these awards. Like I can't. I've won this award. Like I was saying, like I got a few of these. Like
you do have a few of these.
I do have a few of these. I don't know.
You may be the all-time leader behind. I don't know. Paul Tracy's catching you.
Did you see anything in the truck race where you were just like, damn that, what an idiot?
There's a few like lappers that kind of made me upset. What was the deal between like Haley and Dean? Like, what was that deal? Like, we really didn't crash or anything.
I saw somebody.
I just saw it written down.
I saw somebody tweet that Dean just did like 13 times 2 or whatever on Twitter. Like, if you leave the track right there and your first thing you tweet out is you immediately just go, you're just doing something like that, you're not in the right mindset to get, you know what I mean? Like, you need to do other things to get better. You need to make better luck for yourself, in other terms.
Which one?
If you're on Twitter tweeting about
Who
it.
Who tweeted about it?
I think Dean did.
Dean did. Look, Dean's in a good spot. How irrelevant is Dean Thompson? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Haley Deegan makes him more relevant. He's taking advantage of it.
I guess. Maybe he needs it times 3. I don't know.
Yeah, he tweeted 13 times 2.
Our truck race was really calm. Like, I never really thought it like
too
we
bad.
went around. I didn't catch all the Xfinity race. I just caught the tail end.
Man, watching that Road America race, it made me miss going up there so bad. I love that racetrack. Great people.
Yeah, that atmosphere there when we would run there was incredible. I loved it.
It was phenomenal.
Like, the only what an idiot I don't even know. It's just a mistake. It's not an idiot, but I was I was kind of granted he was in Toyota, but I was kind of rooting on Karam.
Yeah, Sage.
You have the
he
lead,
messed up.
And I'm like it's like in that moment, it's like no, like how, like why would you?
Yeah.
Like all you gotta do is just underdrive the corner, like just
he already
calm
had
down.
him.
It was over. Like
he had him.
It was over.
But that's the situation though, that like those guys, he'll learn from that now.
Well, it was probably his first lap leading a race. It's coming to 1 to go. Like, you've been
first
following.
Shot to win.
You're struggling. You're fighting for your first win.
Yeah.
Best car you've ever been in, and best
nobody
spot
to
you've
follow
been,
to gauge
and
it off
the
of.
first time all week you don't have somebody to follow, and
Yeah.
they're actually chasing you.
I was watching the race, and I truly thought Parker Klingerman was in the best spot because I knew they'd all keep screwing up.
Not Kling. It's
Klingerman. And they all did keep screwing up, and then he got the lead, and then he screwed up. And then Mayer got right back by him. So shout out to Mayer, though, man. Big win.
It was a whole lap of like who. It was like they didn't want to race. Win that race.
I will say the last time Sage ran Road America, though, he had a big wreck on the straightaway. So
Noah Gregson helped him with that.
Sage has come a long way, and especially on the restarts, he didn't force anything. He took advantage, and then, I can't blame him because he saw the chance at the lead and the win and just stepped over that much. Dude, how far can you bend your fingers back?
Me?
Yeah.
What, did he just do it?
Is that really far? Dude, look at that.
Please don't put that in the show.
all
These
right.
people can't see that.
That's ridiculous.
Is that worse than the toes?
Look.
That don't bother me. It's the fingers.
Just normal.
Oh, my gosh, dude. Mine go like... Dude, these are at a 90-degree angle.
Yeah, I didn't even know I was doing that.
That's disgusting.
He's an Iron Man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. No wonder you got that damn diesel in the gasoline.
Where were we?
Picks.
Picks. That's right. We're going to Michigan. Brett, congrats on your win. You picked Kyle Busch, who finished P3. Casey picked Martin Truex Jr. Freddie picked William Byron. And TJ, you're up.
TJ first.
Man, Ty let me down, man. Where are we going? Michigan?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I'm going to go with wow, this is a tough one here, man. I don't have who I want available.
So is it you can only use
How many
one
races
driver
we got
one
left?
week?
Yeah, we use them once during regular season, then playoffs we can use them
You
unlimited.
reset.
Yeah,
Michigan, Indy, Watkins Glen, Daytona, I think.
that's right.
4.
I like this.
Yeah, I'm going to go with
TJ's always been last. This year he's kicking our tails.
No, actually won last year's too.
Oh, you did. That's right.
Thanks.
I had a terrible playoff.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Logano.
A Ford?
Yeah, man.
Why?
Because I ain't got left. And I got a plan. It just needs to fall into
All right,
place.
who's next?
I got a big lead, dude.
Brett,
Back
you're
up.
up.
I'm up. I won.
Yeah,
Ca-
well, Casey. and
Freddie took
Freddie
William
already-
Byron, right?
Yeah.
Who'd Casey take?
She took Truex. It's I wrote it on the sheet.
Oh, wow. She took Truex. Huh. That's
Yeah.
that leaves me with Bowman, Ty Gibbs, or Suarez to be in a Chevrolet or a Toyota. I'm Bowman. That's my guy.
Yeah.
I almost laid up right there and picked somebody to finish last, so I could pick first next week, but
That's what I was considering, but
we didn't. Who do you think wins the Cup race, Carson?
Man, I was gonna go Tyler Reddick, honestly.
Yeah.
That was gonna be my pick. I thought I remember the 23 XI cars being pretty
Can I
good.
change my
so
pick?
I was gonna guess Wallace was gonna be TJ's pick. Honestly.
that's what I want to go to.
No, it's too late, bud. Sorry.
Can I change the
Yeah,
wall?
you already locked in.
I don't know how you don't pick a Toyota, but my only good Toyota left is Ty
What are the
Gibbs,
rules?
and he's
I
a
don't think
rookie.
There is any.
Yeah.
Can you take a vote?
Yeah, I was blown away. He didn't pick Wallace.
Yeah, what are the rules on TJ wanting to change his pick?
You can't change his f***ing pick.
Yeah.
That ain't how this
Yeah.
works.
That's
And then I'm going to
yeah.
change my pick after he changes his. How about that?
No, you're
Wanna
not.
play that game?
You ain't gonna change yours anyway. You ain't got anybody you're really good to pick from.
Once
You're
it's
stuck.
out-
You're stuck.
Once it's out in the world,
It's fine,
then
yeah, I'll just take
it's
it.
locked in.
All right, Bristol Motor Speedway. We're doing it in style here, the ultimate experience. Myself, TJ, Freddie, we all hang out with you guys in the suite before the race. I actually hang out during the race. Our good friend and leader, I guess we could even call him maybe mentor, TJ, Mike Davis, he hangs out in there the whole time. I will tell you this, if you get near Mike Davis, he does not stop talking. So if you're trying to watch the race, you probably want to talk to him before this thing kicks off. But great food, great drinks, an awesome swag bag, parking pass, your own bathroom. This is VIP style if you're a race fan, and Bristol Motor Speedway probably is one of my, well, let me rephrase that.
It
It's
is.
not probably, it is my favorite racetrack to actually walk into and look down at that bowl.
Yeah, I mean, night race at Bristol, ultimate experience. Not that I trying to blow Mike's head up here, but he does a great job getting these put together, and everyone that we know that goes to these has a great time and looks forward to seeing everybody there.
Yeah, we'll see you guys there. Make sure you check it out. Third Emo Media, ultimate experience. Irish Hills, baby, of Michigan.
Are you from
did
the
you
upper
go around
part?
there as a kid?
The what?
Did you go around Irish
MIS?
Hills Park as a kid growing up?
Uh-uh.
No, you were west of there, right?
No, I'm like basically.
You're near
border of
Kalamazoo.
Indiana. Yeah, Kalamazoo.
Oh,
Yeah.
what do they call that? The
UP?
The Youpers or you?
He's not a Youper.
No, I'm
No,
like
Kalamazoo's down
I'm
there.
here.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not. Okay, you're
I'm
bottom
real low,
part.
real low.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said near Canada.
So,
No,
are you a
Okay.
Detroit Lions fan?
Actually, I'm a Yankees fan.
Yeah?
Not gonna lie.
Okay.
So,
So you don't even follow Tigers? You don't follow any Michigan sports?
I barely. Well, we suck.
That's kind of what I was getting at.
Well, so I do Red Wings for hockey. I'm just a bandwagoner. When we're good, we're good.
Okay.
My dad's from Cleveland, so I love blue is my favorite color. So I went Lions. He went Cleveland. So me watching NFL is really easy because it's just who's going to last that year.
Right.
Between the two of us.
Yep,
So it's just like, oh, you went 0-16 this year, and then we went 0-16. So I don't really have to follow along very much, but my dad was on the Derek Jeter Foundation for a little bit, just being from there and knew Derek's dad. So I went to more Yankee games than I did the Tigers. So
yeah,
Yankees were easy, and he loved the Tigers. So I'm like, okay, well, you can't have the same one as Dad. So
Yankees was a good pick. Yeah, I don't blame you. I'd have been a Yankees fan too. Freddie would be mad. He's a Mets guy. They suck too. They haven't been good since like Darryl Strawberry was there. You don't know who that is.
I have no idea. Yeah, we suck football. So we just suck kind of in general. But.
Well, listen, man, enjoy racing Michigan this weekend. We wish you big time luck in the playoffs. I mean, that's the big picture. You gonna when are you gonna say what you're doing next year?
Yeah, I don't have anything done yet.
No,
I haven't put pen to paper yet. So. I can't really say
good stuff going on
done.
at least.
I think so. I hope so.
Are you like sequential shifting? Or are you like shifting?
I don't know yet. I've had.
Are you doing this?
I've had.
Or are you doing?
I've had multiple get handed to me, so I just whatever one gets worked out the best, and that I can put a pen to paper. I want to. I've already done it, but I got nothing to say now because I don't really have anything.
What's more important to you, winning races in your deal you sign, or being a Cup driver?
I think you gotta look at both, right? I want to whatever's gonna make me be around for longer, right? I don't bring a lot of money to the table, so it's just
winning usually helps that because people like when they win. So
it's just whatever. Like if I can look at a long-term deal, right? Like that I can eventually be winning, or I can be winning right away. Whatever the case may be, I think it's going to be a little bit of a process either.
Well, that answers my question.
Who's navigating that with you? You doing it by yourself or you got help?
I got some help.
Big decision, man. I mean,
it's tough.
20 years old. I mean, you're talking about a decision that can get you to 23, 25 and be around for a long time or not, man. And I've seen – listen, man, we saw guys come through here like Kevin Grubb, Casey Atwood that were talented, that were young guys in your position and man, couple wrong moves and poof. You don't even ever hear of them again, right? So, but you also see guys come up through the ranks, you know, like Elliott Sadler, who makes the right decision, and boom, he's here for 15, 20-year career. So we're I'm gonna be pulling for you in these playoffs, man.
Appreciate it.
Don't let me down. Don't do nothing stupid.
All right, I'll try not to do something stupid.
Just don't do that.
I've won enough What an Idiot awards. I don't need that.
That resets at the playoffs.
Do you have
too,
No, do you have a counter? Like, do you have a counter of that? Like,
we should.
We
Like,
probably
you need a
should
counter.
keep track of who wins it the most.
We probably should. When do you leave to go?
I think I go Friday morning pretty early.
Yeah, Arca's there too, right?
Yeah, and we got Xfinity on Friday.
Yeah, busy weekend. Hopefully not 150 degrees.
Yeah. Michigan can get hot, but it's one of the best spotter stands there is, though. So
it is probably there in Daytona, or a phenomenal spotter stand.
Very good spotter stand.
Yeah. Well, you guys have a good week. Appreciate you listening, Freddie. You're in our hearts and prayers, buddy. We love you. Hopefully, we'll have you back on here next week. I know how much Freddie loves racing. I know how much his dad loved racing. I don't see him skipping Michigan if he can at all make it there physically, because I know he's going to want to get back with his racing family. And tough week for him and his family, but it'll be a fun weekend of racing coming up. Appreciate you guys listening, and I'm out. Holla.
Thinking about you, Freddie. See you.